In today's video, we're going to check out a brand new product from 3i. It's called the S10 Ultra. And this is essentially an AI-powered vacuuming system that provides us the ability of vacuuming and mopping. Again, we've seen things like this before. But what makes this so unique is the amount of interactions that we need to do with the main base station once we set it up. And also the fact that it actually has the ability of generating water or making water from the humidity in our home, making it so that we pretty much only have to fill this system up once when we set it up and forget about it. This is TK, and this is the most advanced smart vacuum robot that I've seen to date. Let's go ahead and check it out and see all of the cool features that this system from 3i provides us. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So we're going to start off by talking about the assembly and of course what comes in the box. The packaging is actually pretty well done, and overall the unit itself for the most part is pretty much assembled. The vacuum itself is positioned in a separate box, as well as the base station and of course the clean water tank. This entire system does not have a dirty water tank, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as far as how the system actually can generate water from the things that it uses, and of course just the fact that there's humidity in the air around us in the home. But other than that, it's pretty much straightforward to set up. You basically need to set up the base station, connect it directly into a wall socket. Obviously it needs power. There's a small cleaning solution that we need to put in there. It's positioned on the left side to the front. And of course there's the clean water tank that we have in the front. There is no dirty water tank, but there is basically a collection bin or collection bag where we'll be able to basically collect the dirt that it basically picks up from the ground, as well as the dirt that's remaining from the dirty water that the actual vacuum comes back in. So overall, once you set it up, you pretty much only have to worry about emptying out basically the collection bag, and you're pretty much set. The dirty water, no worry about that. It gets recycled through the system, basically making clean water for it to use, and whatever remaining dirt that's there goes directly into that collection bin. So the entire system is pretty much self-aware in the sense of it needs to have water, and it will generate water whenever it needs to so that it has enough in the clean water tank. Once you have that set up, basically you just need to download the application, and it's available on the iOS App Store as well as the Google Play Store. Here we have it. The application is in there. Now, right now, the system is in the process of drying itself out. You'll notice there's a little bit of an animation. It actually tells you what's going on, the battery level of it. You can configure it to your home, and you can, of course, add additional vacuums if you have any. There's pretty much shortcuts set for us here to know exactly how we want. We can do an AI auto cleaning session, a deep clean session. Of course, we can do full mop and vac, as well as the ability to do vacuuming. Since this actually has two systems in it, you can actually run, depending on how you want it, using either a vacuum or using directly as far as a mopping configuration, or even run them as both. Once you do that, you can configure it from the shortcuts, or you can go directly into the custom options. When you first set it up, this is one of the nice things I've actually seen with any other system. The system allows you to actually configure, and it also identifies certain parts of the home. Like in this situation, it recognizes that my dining table is sitting here. It recognizes my refrigerator is sitting there, but it also recognizes that the actual base station is relatively to the back of the refrigerator, although the distance is not an accurate distance. But the other thing is, you can definitely see here, I have an L-shaped couch with a nice coffee table here. And last but not least, you can definitely see that my bathroom, or at least the guest bathroom, is sitting all the way at the bottom. All of this is in there. It's a nice 3D image, and what I like about it, it's actually also going to be the map that we use to be able to configure if we want to go from either an AI configuration. This is automatic, vac mop, or medium. You can customize those in there. And one thing to mention though is whenever it's in the middle of a specific cycle, it does not have the ability of starting another one, meaning right now it's in a cleaning mode, so we need to wait for that to change. The full option here, pretty much straightforward. You can set the parameters between mop and vac or vacuum, 1 time, 2 times. Of course, you can configure also the vacuuming power as well as the water level. Last, of course, you can go in there and do rooms, and because it already pre-scanned the configuration, you know that there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, although really this is more of a corridor. And last but not least is by zone, meaning I can specify a specific area where I need it to go and actually do the experience for me, meaning I can actually just tell it, go clean in front of itself, like that clip you guys saw at the beginning of the video, or I can go in and customize it and make it just go in any specific room. This is independent of where you want it to go, but this is going to be the most customizable way to do it if you want to have, like I say, a spot cleaning that you want to do. For me, I pretty much kept it in the full configuration because that's 90% of how I did it. Of course, there's a start and stop option in there, and under settings, this is where I kind of like also looking into it. So we have scheduled cleaning. You can go in there, customize it. I have it set to do it whenever we're out of the house. So at 11 o'clock, 3 times a week. You can edit the map itself, cleaning settings, and of course more robot settings in there. There's additional ones for do not disturb, child safety lock, language and volume, and all of the things that you can customize there. AI recognition, and of course the green eye dirt detection. Now this is that light that you've been seeing in the actual video. It allows it to actually go and recognize what's in front of it so that it updates itself in the middle of what it's doing. It means it's no longer going to basically just go automatic all over. And of course we have station settings. You can go in there and customize them. You can turn on the notification for cleaning solutions, station lighting, water production by air. Of course, you hear the current indoor humidity, and you can customize it to where you want it to be able to configure the production of water. Meaning, if the humidity level in the room is less or greater or equal to 40%, it'll start creating water. But if it's less than 40%, it'll stop. Of course, consumables. This is what we have in there as far as the system. Device sharing, if you want to change or share that information with another person. Firmware upgrade. This is running the latest firmware. I did receive one update since I've received the unit itself. Privacy setting and feedback. But if we go all the way up to here to the work records, you'll notice that it keeps record of all the sessions that it runs when it's cleaning itself or cleaning their home. But what I like about it is it also here, what it's actually showing you how much water it's producing by air. So here in different areas, it generated 12 milliliters, 24 milliliters, 52 milliliters. And what it's doing in this essentially is regenerating that water. But it also here, when it's using the water distillation, this is actually regenerating the water from the dirty water, from the brown water that comes back with the vacuum, so that it actually, all it has at the end of that just is basically the crumbs or the dirt that goes back into the collection bag inside of the vacuum system. And at this point, you don't have to worry about replenishing the water. So it always tries to make sure that it has enough water whenever it needs it. And it generates it, again, from the air or from the dirty water that comes back with the vacuum. Now, what I like with this system is the overall approach to cleaning the home. It does have pretty much some of the standard functionalities that we've had. Essentially, the ability of starting it, as you saw there with the application, you're able to turn it on, and based on the initial scan that it does, so basically when you first set it up and you allow it to scan the house, you're able to configure it in different modes. You can specify specific spots, unless you have a spill and you just want it to come in there and clean it, or if you want to just be able to get it clean up and just generally a vacuum. Obviously, it's going to work on hard surfaces as well as carpet, and it'll transition. The water cycling system here is what makes this so unique, and one of the reasons why I said this is the most advanced vacuuming system that I've seen. And that's the fact that it actually is able to pull water from two different sources. The initial water, obviously we fill up the water tank at the beginning. The one thing that actually makes this so unique as far as the water issue here is the fact that we never have to worry about emptying a water tank. Now, typical vacuum system, if you've used them before, especially the all-in-one ones that we've seen before, they'll have typically a clean water solution section where you put in your cleaning solution as well as your water. And then there's usually a brown water or dirty water solution tank that essentially fills up over time. So as time goes on, you'll get notified essentially to go in there and fill up the water and of course empty up the dirty water. And those typically smell horrible, and I've never enjoyed cleaning those solutions or emptying out those tanks. But at the end of the day, it is cleaning the floor, so it's bringing up all of that dirt, and obviously we need to get rid of it. The vacuuming system or the base station will start producing water once it's done, meaning when the vacuum comes back to the base station and it empties out the dirty water from the actual vacuum system into itself, and it'll start producing water in two different systems. Again, pulling in the humidity, condensing, basically creating condensation from it, and of course putting that back into the water tank itself so that we have access to that water. And of course the other thing is where it takes the dirty water and basically, for the lack of a better term, basically sterilizes the water to put clean water back in the clean tank and the dirt into the actual collection bag, providing us a solution so we only ever have to worry about is emptying out the collection bag, and other than that, it takes care of itself. Now, one of the other things that I like about the system is the approach to mopping. And what I typically mean by this is most vacuum system that we've seen so far typically will have two spinning mop heads in the back. Now, one will basically be the one that extends to the right that gives it the edge cleaning, and the other one stays pretty much stationary. Now, whenever it's cleaning the edges or providing or trying to catch anything on the side of the vacuum, there's always going to be a space between those two mop heads, making it so that we lose a lot of space. We don't get the mopping experience exactly as it should be. Where the solution that we have here with the S10 Ultra, it's a roller that provides us still the experience of extending to the right to be able to get those edges while still providing us that total coverage. Also, when it goes back to the base station, as you saw this at the beginning when we were looking at the app, it actually gets the ability of cleaning it ever so efficiently because it's a spinning roller as opposed to just mop heads. So meaning it's not actually sitting in a specific area being cleaned up. It actually spins, dries it out, provides us a very clean experience. At the end of the day, you're also able to replace it. It's easy to see where the functional options are in here and how the attention to detail this has been put in there. Now, we talked about the fact that this actually has a green eye, or essentially a detection system to allow it to know what the debris in front of it is. Be it solids, be it liquid, be it hair, it'll adjust to whatever you're trying to do. And of course, it does have also a detangling system in case it is hair, because in this situation, for me, at least in my home, we have 3 cats, and we also have obviously people that are around there. So there's always going to be things on the ground for it to be able to pick up. The crumbs and everything like that, for typical experience, it's going to basically basically obviously vacuum, then mop. It's basically straightforward. Obviously, if it goes over carpet, it's going to turn off the mopping functionality, as you don't typically mop your carpet. But that's, again, adjusting to where it's going and knowing what's in front of it. And for any reason, of course, if, let's say, a toy or something is left on the ground, not only does it get recognized, but also gets basically the system knows enough to go around. Because the initial scanning that it does of the house typically will give it basically, let's think of it as like the baseline configuration, and the system updates itself as it's going through every single cleaning session, because every single one is obviously going to be a little bit different. There is a lighting effect that is built into it. You are able to turn that off, but it almost looks like the actual system is pulsating life over at night, as you're seeing in some of those images, and it actually makes it a nice little night light in case you wanted something in that area. The overall performance of the system is pretty much self-explanatory. Once you start it, depending on the mode that you pick, it'll go through and clean the entire house. And when it's done, it'll give you a report telling you exactly what it did. And if there is any issues, you are going to get notified through the application if the vacuum gets stuck somewhere, so that you know that you need to go back home. When you get back, actually go in there and pick it up and put it back into the base station. It does have a little bit of a sound whenever it's generating water. So the reason why I have it cleaning this during the day is once it's done cleaning and it starts going into the water production, it does make a little bit of a noise. It's not very loud, but you definitely hear the base station working, and basically when it's making the water out of either precipitation from the basically humidity in the home, or using the water, the dirty water that it cleaned itself. So it's definitely, it lets you know when it's working. So that's also one of the nice things. And of course, we have remote app control, so you can activate, stop, do whatever you want with the system whenever you're traveling, since it's connected to the internet, and we're also able to update the software to it. So with that being said, I'll probably say that this is literally one of the best solutions that you can get to date. If you're looking for basically a cleaning system that is almost as laissez-faire as possible, meaning you barely have to do anything other than set it up at the beginning, put some water in the clean water tank to start it off, and then every once in a while when it tells you, either replenish the cleaning solution and of course change the receptacle, the collection bag for the dust, and you're pretty much set. It creates its own water, it cleans the house, it does everything that you need it to do, and it goes back to the base station and it's ready to go whenever you need it. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I will see you in the next video.